the millions of people that hear. Summer is over and autumn has begun. It's the end of the sun, as if we had any, and the start of something more to come. Hello, Philip. It's the end of the summer, and it's time to get ready for Halloween and Bonfire Night and Christmas and New Year's Eve and next year and the year after and death and destruction and everything, and that's the end of everything, and it's the beginning of the start, and it's the end of the start, and it's the beginning of the end, and it's the end of the beginning, and everything is ending and everything is starting, because it's the end of the summer. Hello, Philip, because you're the only person here, and you're going to have to listen to me improvising this song that I didn't even think about very much, and it's a little bit wrong, and it's a little bit long, but it's the end of the summer. Hello, greetings, Aaron Fingal, and greetings, Philip, and anyone else that comes in. You're gonna have to listen to me doing this, and I did a song on YouTube. Oh no, I didn't put it there, I put it on TikTok. Thank you very much. And it's the end of the summer, and it's the beginning of the end, and it's the start of the beginning and the beginning of the start, and it's time to watch TikTok because I've put most of my content there now. Good evening, Terry. Good evening, everyone. I think I've only got 2 likes, but thank you for saying there's 3, and I'm a little bit miserable, and it's the end of everything, and it's the end of the summer. The clocks haven't gone back yet, but apart from that, it is the end. It's the end. It's the end. It's the beginning. Why miserable? I'm not miserable. I'm a little bit miserable. I don't know. If you go on TikTok, you can see all the things. I went up a church tower yesterday. I went up the spiral staircase, and I always get really terrified of spiral staircases. And this time I was like, I am not going to panic. I'm not going to panic. So it was a church open day, like a family history. So we went to, thank you, James. We went to see whether we can find the gravestones of my mother's, mine as well. My great-grandparents, my mother's grandparents. But they put wooden crosses in the 50s. And one thing, the 50s is too soon for them to have the open record, so we couldn't find it. But apparently if you put wooden crosses, then they are going to sort of rot, and also it was all grown up. But we did find a Thomas Mayers, who's the first ancestor of my mother to come to this area from far away, where we think it was Stoke-on-Trent, but we're not sure. But he was buried in the ground, but also his grandchild that was only 5 months old with the same name was buried there, so that was sad. But it was an open day for this nice church, which you can go on TikTok and see the little tour, but not here, because the thing is, it's weird because the shorts you can only have 1 minute shorts, so they're all too long. When I try to make them that, I make them that, I could make them, it's awkward. It's like, shall I make them that aspect ratio or that aspect ratio? And if I make them that aspect ratio, then they're not really suitable for this platform. So it's all awkward. So you should go and see my TikTok to see this, to see the song that I did this week, and to see which I've used reuse footage for. But the song, I downloaded Audacity, and I was downloading all sorts of software to try and make a proper production of a song, and then I realised I've got no clue what I'm doing, so I just uploaded it a cappella, because you may as well. What's that, Joe's Diner, who's not Joe's Diner, yeah, what's her name, the one that did Marlena in the anyway, that one, she did an a cappella song, so I was like, well, if it's good enough for her, it's good enough for it's not good enough for me. Nothing's good enough for me. Anyway, I did that, so you should go and see that. So I've had an interesting week in that I have done things, but I haven't done things. Anyway, I was going up the spiral staircase, and I didn't panic. I didn't freak out, but I did put my camera in my pocket, and then I did try to record stuff, but I couldn't see whether it was on or off, so there's like footage that was lost. But I did get to the top, and I went to the roof of this tower in the church. It was very fun. Suzanne Vega, that's exactly. Tom's Diner, exactly. See, I knew that, really. Anyway, Tom's Diner, Suzanne Vega, of course it was. I knew that. Anyway, I got to the top, and you can only have 3 people on this tour because it's like very narrow church. This church was founded in the 7th century and started being built in the 12th century, and then more Victorian work got done. So it's hard to tell how old the innards of this tower were. They're quite old though. So you know you had to sign a waiver to make sure if anything bad happened. So there was one person guiding us and 3 people. So I had to wait until there was other people so I could go up with those. They were strangers to me. And we went all the way up, and it was like, I'm all right, and there's a bell tower and everything, and it was nice. We got to the roof, and we stood on the roof, 3 of us, but there was this little child that had snuck in, and his mother snuck into, and we kept saying, no, you can't go up, there's only 3 people, have you signed a waiver? And they're like, no. So they got to the middle bit where the bell ringing pools were, and we like, wait there, and we told them to wait with another guide. And then when we got to the roof, the child came all the way up. They didn't stop him. And it was like, oh, well, that's probably all right. There's already 4 people, 3 people in the guide, and the little child probably not going to break it. But then the mother came up. And the thing is, I'm quite a sturdy person. The other 2 people on the tour were more sturdy, let us say. The guide was quite a slight person, but the child was little. But then the mother was also a sturdy person. So I was like, yes, I've avoided being freaked out until this point, but I am going to, because you had to sort of go to the one side to get out to the roof bit. So I was like, I'm going back in. So I went back in, and there was a sort of cord so that you could cling onto it, so I sort of shuffled down with holding the cord, shuffled down on my bottom all the way down to the bell ringing part, and I was like, I'm all right now, I can manage. And then the other guide was there, and I was like, oh, can we go in the basement? And he's like, it's not the basement, there's still more steps to go. I was like, oh, feel a bit silly now. Anyway, we went all the way down. That was fun. And there's a holy well there. I've been to this church before because it was local to where I used to live. No, I've never been a religious person, and also it's church in Wales, and I've certainly never been church in Wales. But I think I might have gone to a Christmas service there once. I vaguely remember, or a harvest festival or something, because it is, the church that is local. And it is the church that is reputedly, St. Caddock built it, who was a saint from Cowbridge. And I don't know why he was in the area, but he might have been, and he might have seen the Holy Well when they were first building the church. But there's a legend that when he was building the church, and he was building it with his own hands and everything, the devil came down and took all the stones and stuck them on the top of the mountain. I've told you this story before, probably. Stuck them on the top of the mountain and ruined the church, and they had to keep going there. It's like, that's probably not what happened, because I found out also this week that in 2014, some person, a metal detectorist, was very near this church on the top of the mountain and found a hoard of Bronze Age spears and helmets and all broken stuff that's 3,000 years old. And until that time, they said that they never realised that there were any Bronze Age settlements in this area. And it's like, I could have told you there probably were, because there's legends, ancient legends from way before that. Now that's from like the 6th century, but there's ancient legends, and the fact that there are cairns all over the mountain means that there obviously were Silurian settlements. The Silures lived in this area way before the Romans even, and there's like Roman ruins and everything, but they haven't done any archaeological sort of research or anything in this area, which is terrible. So what was I saying? Oh yes, so the Holy Well, which I didn't know about, it was pointed out to me, so I've got footage of that, but it's sort of capped off. I don't know whether there is water underneath it, but you can't get into it because there's it's just built over. But that was nice. So my mother came with me, and she said that she wasn't going to come unless it was sunny, and it was sunny yesterday for the first time in ages. And it's not sunny again today, so it's a good job it didn't happen today. Is anybody talking to me? Yeah, everyone's gone. Live chat. Can I see that? Greetings from Hickory, North Carolina. Hello. Yeah. Anyway, Scott. Hello, Scott. Yes. Hello, everybody. So, yes, it is the end of the summer. It's definitely the end. Sunny in Wales. Sunny for one day only. One day only. It was sunny in Wales for a couple of hours. And then it got rainy again. But who can blame it? Because the sun is very shy. And the rain wants to come out. The rain is good. Rain is good. Rain is... Everybody's gone to the moon. Yes, exactly, they have. Everybody's gone to the moon. Let's not talk about him, because he's one of the people very much like the brand of the Russell who got done for stuff. Let's not talk about Jonathan King, because he is a thing, and everyone has gone to the moon. Yes, so yeah, that's a lot of people in there. Has it been a whole week since all that incriminating evidence? Anyway, the song that I wrote this week was sort of about not trusting your idols and you're about problematic famous people and stuff. But the weird thing is, I wrote it on the coach coming home to Wales on the Thursday, and there wasn't even any hint that anything was going to happen until Russell Brand came out and said, "Oh, there's going to be stuff about me" on the Friday. So I'm like, there must have been rumours of something that made me think on the coach to write this. Anyway, I wrote it on the Thursday, and I recorded it on the Monday, and then I stuck together a load of footage from previous videos, because I was like, I can't be bothered anymore, I'm just going to stick it up, because I spent ages trying to produce it, and then realised I do not know how to do that, and I haven't got any instruments that I can plug in and use as MIDI. So, and also today I went to an app to find out my vocal range, and apparently my vocal range is about the same as Taylor Swift, which is unusual, but I can't really sing nicely, as you can hear, but I can do very high and very low. I can do and I can do very low and not nicely, but I can do it high. That's horrible. Oh, Superman. That was horrible. But I can do high and I can do low, but I can't make them tuneful. And that is the trick, you see. That is the trick. You can do all sorts of noises, but if they don't sound like singing, you do not get famous, like Taylor Swift, or I haven't got the vocal range of Mariah Carey, but to be honest, that's a little bit weird. People love it when you sing tenor. People love it when you give them a tenor. 10 miles away. Very good. Very good. So I can do high. I can do higher than that. And I can do low. At one point I could do from chest voice to head voice, and somebody commented on it, and I was like, oh, good, that's nice. And what does that mean? That means you can do that, and you can't show off. The wind is blowing the rain off the windows. Oh, Scotland. Oh, Scotland. Scotland the brave, yes. So I can do... How low can you go? That's weird. Maybe you can do Queen of the Night. Not well, see? I'm about the same as that. That one that they made the film about that was doing concerts and sounding absolutely awful. She could sing the notes but not tunefully, and they were a little bit off. And that's the thing that I find. I cannot do them well, but I can do them sort of. 1930s. This is it. Trilling weird singing in the 1930s was like Jeanette MacDonald and Nelson Eddy. It's very strange stylized singing in the 1930s. Like my grandmother used to pride herself in having a good voice, and she used to trill, and you're like, that does not sound great. But in the 1930s, when she was at her peak of singing, she was probably she was, probably lauded for her lovely singing voice that was quite frankly ear-splitting. I love my gran, but it was not great. I cannot sing. She could not sing either, but she thought she could. And I do not think I can, and that's the difference, yes. Anyway, so yes, also at this thing yesterday, there was a person that had been at the recital of the poetry, the Van Wee Haycock poetry that my mother and I were both at, and this woman was gushing over my mother, going, "Oh, you were so fantastic! You were so great! Quite frankly, everybody else was amateurish compared to you." And I was like, "Thanks! I was at that, and I did a reading, and I turned my back and went the other way, and went all the way up to the other church, going." And then my mother said, "Oh, she's just jealous. She just gets jealous." I was like, "I'm not jealous. I don't mind it if somebody says nice things about other people. I just do not want them to say that I was amateurish." Because she couldn't remember me, and yet everyone else at the recital apart from my mother was amateurish, she said. And then she had the gall to just carry on talking as if she hadn't said something really quite insulting. And I was like, "Yeah." And she was just carrying on very nicely as if nothing ever happened, nothing ever happened at all. And so I am sort of rethinking everything, because I don't mind it when people get praise for things, but I really don't like it when I do not get praise for things and I sort of get insulted at the same time. Now, I don't mind if you don't say you were fantastic. I don't really mind it if you say that. But if you say you were really rubbish, but I don't remember you anyway, then I might get insulted. Very insulted. And this woman, perfectly lovely person, didn't mean to insult me, but she did. Didn't mean to insult me. Didn't mean to insult me. Didn't mean to insult me, but she did. So it's very annoying. Thank you. Smile. Vegetable, the chicana. Mexican turnip. Mexican turnip. I made a vegetable video about the Mexican turnip. I have no clue whether I did or not. Possibly. I have done most vegetables in the world, but possibly the chicana is not one of them. I would have to find one, and then I would have to do it. But I have made quite a lot of vegetable videos, and to be honest, I doubled up on a few vegetables because I forgot that I made them, and then I made another one. Like, I think I made 2 leeks, and I think I made 2 parsnips, but I might be wrong. I can't remember anymore. Jicama. Oh, the jicama. Not the jicama, the jicama. Because of the Mexican Spanish. The jicama. Probably the jicama. Probably, I don't know. I have mashed it up. I have mispronounced it. The jicama, like a jalapeno. Yes. So jicama, jalapeno, not jalapeno, not jicama, not Joanne. It's Juan. You have to say things the right way. God, yes, thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much. So, la la la. Juan the jalapeno with the jicama. He liked to eat them spicy jalapeno with paella, not paella. in a beether. Not a beezer. I don't know stuff. You know, you say things wrong and then it haunts you for the rest of your life. So I probably haven't done a hickhammer. I don't know whether I've seen one. Oh, maybe I have and forgotten about it. Just forgotten about it. Oh, look at my big cup of tea. I forgot about it. Because I am a tiny person. So tiny. With my normal sized cup of tea. I've just been eating seaweed. I was just thinking this week that my tastes are a bit weird. I like fresh figs and seaweed. And what do I like? Nice food. I do not like boring food. I like, they're my favourite foods. Seaweed and fresh figs. Seaweed. Any sort of seaweed. Real seaweed. Or the Chinese seaweed that's not really seaweed. I like that too much. Tea. That's exactly. You can go for a swim in my tea. In my tea. Tea, tea, tea. It's lovely tea. Lovely. Yeah. So, it's been a lovely week, hasn't it? Oh, so sunny and beautiful. Beautiful week. A beautiful week. No, it hasn't. And there is a storm on the way. What sort of storm is it? Work. Oh, sweet tea. Yes, yummy sweet tea. Sweet tea. Is that like sort of southern sweet tea, which is sort of, is that cold with ice in it? Icy tea, icy tea, icy tea. Oh, West Virginia tea. Is a mint julep like an iced tea only with mint in it? And alcohol. I don't know. Yes, it is cold. Yes, iced tea. I like iced tea. I think I've seen a lot of videos from Americans on various platforms going, oh, British people don't drink iced tea. Yes, they do. British people don't have refrigerators. Yes, they do. British people don't have washers and separate dryers. Yes, they do. My mother has a washer and a separate dryer. How dare you say British people? British people don't have air conditioning. It's like most of the time we do not need air conditioning. Sometimes we do, and when we do, we really do. But most of the time it's very cold and we just need heating, a lot of heating. And we do have duvets. There's a duvet here. Look, duvet. And apparently that's not common in America. I saw something from a German person saying that they were in America and they had a duvet. And somebody said, oh, that's posh. Not like that though, because that was not how Americans speak. It's like, wow, that's posh. You've got a duvet. Wow. Because you have blankets and sheets and coverlets and comforters, but you do not tend to have duvets. Not all that much, yes, because you do have duvets. Some people have duvets. Sun tea. I've heard of sun tea. Is it slightly fermented tea? I don't know. I've heard of somebody having sun tea, but I really didn't know what that was. I just assumed that it was like that it was like I assumed actually that there's this thing where you drink the mixturation, if you know what that is. There was an actress from the 1960s that used to swear by it, apparently, but I just don't know whether you haven't had it either. I don't think sun tea. Sun tea sounds like it might be a euphemism for something that you don't really want. So I probably wouldn't drink it. I think I'll avoid it. If I don't know what it is, I'll probably best not have it, really. That's the best thing to do, yes. So, sun, 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 tea, 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 tea. Do not have it, it's not for me. Sun, 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 tea, 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 tea. I do not think that is the thing to be, is somebody that drinks sun tea. Maybe spill the tea. Yes, you spill the tea. Oh, we've got all the tea, haven't we? Oh, talking of which, Drag Race UK is coming back next week, apparently, and there's very boring looking contestants. No, I'm sure they're very good, but I did hear that only 50 people applied this year, which is not great. There's more than 50 drag queens in the UK. I'm sure there are. And also, I did hear that there were 12 people that got picked and only 10 people are going to be in it for various bad reasons of the sort that was in the news this week with other people. So that's not great. So I look forward to seeing it because I do enjoy a good talent reality TV show. Now, I don't like reality TV shows where they're just like, oh, he's dead, what now? Just like that. It's like, wow, I can't believe you said that to me. I don't know what sort of character person that would be. I can't believe you said that to me. I will not do that now. I don't think there are any reality TV shows like that. So I don't really like that sort of reality. I did used to watch Big Brother back in the day when the person that was in the news was presenting the after program. But yeah, Alaska, Detox, Alaska, Jinx Monsoon, all of those people, yes. But none of those are in it because they are British people who are not very. It was all British. The thing is about British drag queens is they're all like, oh, end of the pier. Wow. Well, the ones they're picking this time they're all a little bit. There's nothing wrong with cabaret, but the sort of cabaret that I'm thinking of is like, oh yes, Mrs. They're all a little bit double entendre and all that stuff, and we'll have a bit of a knees up. A little bit of a knees up in the pub. Oh, yes. I mean, I'm sure there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a bit of a sort of change in the sort of people you get in America. They're all like, wow, look at me. I'm so beautiful. And they're talented and everything. And they're all talented. The thing is about the British drag queens, they've all got great talents and they can all sing or be funny and stuff like that. But it's all about that, right? And it's more like they do their act and they're doing sort of, oh, look at me, drag at the same time. It's a sort of different feeling. You know what I mean? Oh, Mrs. Miggins, exactly. Mango, yeah. My hiccup has been caught in my chassis. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'll give you a bit of jalapeno, no mistake. Yes, spill the tea. Oh, yes. Whoa, that's the sort of drag queen you get. They're all a little bit British humour. But there's a lot of northern ones this year. But there doesn't seem to be any Scottish ones. I think and no Welsh ones and no Irish ones. So I think they've narrowed the pool. Exactly. In the American one, I think last year, there was, for some reason, a big bunch of people from Boston that had entered it. So it was like, oh, there was one came on, and they were like, oh, I'm the first person from Boston to ever be on Drag Race. And then the next person was like, hello, I'm from Boston. And the next person's like, hello, I'm from Boston. And then it's just like, oh, they've got all the Boston drag queens for no good reason. Just all in one go. Boop. So what they've done this time is they've done a big net of northern drag queens and gone, there you go, all in the same show. I don't know. I'm not in the production side of or any side of the Drag Race franchise. I know nothing about how they pick these people, but it does seem like they were all quite similar and sort of cheeky. Oh, look at me. Oh, except northern. Oh, look at me. That's still not northern. It's like, ow. It's like, I can't do. I used to be able to do a northern accent. I have to get into the mood for it, and I can't remember. Yeah, you know, like you have to hear a note and then you can get into it. It's like you do a northern accent, and I'll do that northern accent. Oh, Mrs. Miggins' pie shop is not it. Also, I've said this before. The Sweeney Todd thing that's being released, and Annalise somebody what is doing Mrs. Miggins, and I think I said it last week. It's just, I think that's fine. The stupid accent that she does is a very stupid accent, but it's like, woo, it's very Dick Van Dyke. But that's fine. Like when I was a kid, didn't not notice that Dick Van Dyke's accent was a little bit weird. As far as I was concerned, when I was a tiny child, Dick Van Dyke was perfectly fine to be going, yes, he's definitely a Cockney chimney sweep. What do I know? To be honest, there aren't many Cockneys anymore. I once said, I was in London for quite a while. I was like, I'm not sure I've met any Cockneys. And then 3 people on my Facebook friends list said, oh, I'm a Cockney. Like, one of them had moved to Turkey. One of them had moved to Sardinia. And one of them has moved to Nottingham or something. So the 3 Cockneys I know are no longer, 2 of them were no longer living in the country, and one of them was living elsewhere in the country, and they were the only Cockneys I knew. So Cockneys do not stay in the vicinity of the Bow Bells for very long. Well, there's only one hospital, I think, so, and I'm not sure it's a maternity hospital, so I'm not sure how many people are actually being born in the sound of Bow Bells, if anyone anymore. I think these people were all over 30. So if there are any Cockneys left, I would be very surprised. Like the people in EastEnders, they're more sort of Essex way. Like maybe their great-great-grandparents might have been Cockney. But Essex is not Cockney. Essex is Essex. Yes, and what else could it be? Alright, so this is me. I've had the end of the summer. End of the summer. End of the summer. It's now autumn, technically speaking. Yes. Is it the summer solstice? No. Is it the autumn solstice? The other day we had it. Should have gone and found that stone circle that I was looking for, but it was raining the other day. And I went somewhere else yesterday. So I didn't go to that. We had a nice gluten-free barra breath. Because they had like teas and coffees in this place. It was like you can have a tea or a coffee and a piece of cake and some sandwiches and a crisps for £4. But me and my mum were like, but there's no gluten-free sandwiches and we don't crisps. What if we just want the gluten-free cake that you have got? Well, we saw some sponge, but they went, oh, we've made barra breath, which is sort of raisin cake. It's sort of raisin cakey bread. Barra breath is it's sort of halfway between cake and bread. It's like fruit. It's a nice fruit cake. And so we were like, we'll have that. So we had some barra breath, which is Welsh fruit cake, and a cup of tea for my mummy, and a cup of coffee for me. And we had that, and it was only £1 each, rather than £4 if we wanted the sandwiches and crisps. Bargain. So that was fun. So I had quite a grand day out yesterday, and we looked up family history, and I went up a tower, and I had some cake. What more could you ask for from the day? And it was sunny. All right, so go and see it on TikTok. You can see the remnants of the video. Yeah, find me. I think I'm E.Lise Harris, because somebody else had already got my Elise Harris tag, so I couldn't have that, even though I'm the only Elise Harris that matters. There are loads more in the world, but I'm the only one that matters. I'm sorry, other Elise Harrises. You matter too, of course you do. But I'm the only one that matters in this room at this moment. Yeah. Anyway, I will see you next week. Have a lovely time. I'm probably going to be back in London by next week, but I don't know. I haven't actually booked a ticket back, but I'm going to book it, so I probably will be there. So I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Have a lovely week. Bye-bye-bye. Be well to you too. Bye-bye-bye.